Welcome to growthtofreedom.com, the show that brings you inspiration, transformation, and leadership. We're helping you connect the dots, see the blind spots, and get unstuck so you can go out and generate more leads, more sales, more profits. More importantly, so you can go out and have a bigger reach, a bigger impact, and make a bigger contribution.
All right, hot topic right now. Have you struggled to get people to show up on your webinars or maybe your live summits or perhaps your live events or virtual summits? This seems to be a really hot, very sensitive, very passionate topic. I had a very heated conversation a little while ago with a client, and I'm actually in a mastermind, and we were having this conversation over the last few days. And what's amazing is how many people seem to be struggling with show-up ratios for their different types of events, virtual events, webinars, and so on. And like one of the common threads that's popped up with one of our clients is they're like, our show-up ratios for our webinars are only about 10%. And in this mastermind a handful of days ago that we were having the conversation asking each other what were the show-up rate, and the common thread was somewhere between 10 and 20%. So if you're struggling with your show-up ratios, if you're looking for a way to get more people to show up on the webinar, and you're looking to have at least 75% of the people who register for your webinar engage in your content, engage in your offer, then you're going to want to pay attention to what I share with you. Because we see so many people looking at this the wrong way, and it's not your fault. Here's the deal. Like technology, big companies, they've rigged the game these days against you and I. Our advertising type things, email delivery, these things have been rigged against the little guy, right? To get us, basically to create stick to their platforms and so on, and get us, create this, cell phone stick rate, if you will, right? And it's frustrating, isn't it? So what can you do? And I want to give you 3 steps that you can do and start today to put in place to boost those ratios up to closer to what we're seeing with our clients in a range of 30 to 45% show-up ratios, as well as have over 75% of the people who register actually engage if you take this new approach to looking at it. Because here's what not to do. Follow most of the experts. That's what you don't want to do. Like they've gotten you and I to believe a false promise, which is all you got to do is put out a webinar, and all you got to do is use this magic trick and have them show up for one event. And lo and behold, you've got the holy grail to conversion and sales and all these different things. And from our experience, that couldn't be further from the truth. We have found that actually most of the selling, most of the revenue, most of the opportunity, over 75% of it comes after the training, after the webinar, after the summit, after the live event, if you will. So I want to give you the 3 steps that you can put in place. And the very first one, I really want to work with you to break a belief about this idea that a webinar is a one-time thing. It's not. And the best way that I can describe it is first of all, think about it. Like, the old adage, right? How do you want to be treated, right? Do you want to be considered a transaction to a client or a valued relationship? Think about that. So why wouldn't you put those same types of things in place in your model? And think about the process as an ongoing conversation. The biggest, I think, misunderstanding, the thing that's irritating me more than ever before is like this false perception, the big lie around marketing, right? What is marketing in the first place, right? I've heard people say that marketing is storytelling, and I think that's a really healthy way to look at marketing. Marketing is storytelling, right? But the big lie that most people look at it with marketing is they think that marketing is a magic button. Marketing is a conversion trick. It's it's the idea that you throw a match at a log and you catch a fire. In other words, catch clients. It's tactical. And marketing is really about building trust, and it's about building respect, and it's about building the story. So instead of people having to be sold, they buy into things. In other words, you build a buyer's community. You build a buyer's culture. A buyer's culture is very different than a selling culture, isn't it? Right? Think about that. You know, Starbucks is not a selling culture. It's a buyer's culture, isn't it? Apple is not a selling culture. It's a buyer's culture. We buy into it. So what if you could create your version of a buyer's culture? You might ask, well, how can I? Want to introduce you to 3 ways using webinars, virtual summits, and more that you can be able to do this right here, right now. And Adam, it's nice to see you, my friend, and I'm glad you like it. And here's a simple way. I think I've mentioned this before. My son, at this point, he's 12 years old. He plays football. And marketing is a lot like football in field position, right? We all are in this game of business. If we're a business owner, a founder, a CEO, we're in the game. And we have a playing field. Now, some of us do it better than others as it relates to marketing. But here's the idea. Like in football, in traditional football anyway, you have a kickoff to start a game, and a team catches the ball, usually around the goal line or in their end zone. And then if they return it out of the end zone, right, let's say it's me, I'm returning it out of the end zone. I catch the ball in the end zone and I make a cut and I go like 8 yards or 10 yards, just to use simple math, because a traditional football field is 100 yards. So let's say I come out of the end zone, I take it 10 yards, and then I get hammered, which would probably be the case at this point in my life. But I get hammered and I'm at the 10-yard line. So what does that mean? I've got 90 yards to go in this game, right? That's my marketing. In other words, my marketing sucks. So what do I have to do to make up for inadequate, ineffective, poor field position? I've got to do a lot of selling, don't I? So I've got 10% marketing. I've got 90% of selling that's got to happen. On the other hand, let's say I set things up right. I get the kickoff, I make a move, or I'm a better athlete, whatever the case might be, and I take the ball 80 yards instead of 10. Well, now I've got only 20 yards to go, and I've got better what? Better field position, better marketing in place, better, more effective storytelling, more trust, more respect. That's what good marketing is. So your marketing is better field position. What does that mean? Less selling. What does that mean? You create a buyer's culture. Apple, how good do they do with their field position, their story, their trust building, their respect? Now, what is this? It's an adage that's been around for decades and decades and decades. It's education-based marketing. So coming back to webinars, 3 steps that you can take. Quit looking at your webinar as a one-time event. Quit looking at it as throwing a match at a log. Stop it. Stop the insanity. Stop paying attention to a lot of these false experts. These false experts are leading you down the wrong way. Understand field position. Understand that you need a combination of marketing with selling. And if you have the right marketing, it's going to set up your field position. What is marketing? Trust building, respect building, positioning, and storytelling. Those 4 key things. If you're missing any one of those, then your field position makes it harder, and now you have to sell more. If that's what you want, then keep doing it, by all means. I've had businesses, by the way, let me speak to the elephant in the room. One of my early businesses was a high pressure selling environment, super high pressure. And then as we got better and better and our field position got better, we had people on our team go, wow, these are the best leads we've ever had. Why? Because the marketing and education process of trust, respect, education, storytelling was so good that they were pre-motivated, pre-qualified, pre-interested, and ready to do business with us. Right? It made it that much simpler. So how much easier would it be for you if you had that? So what are these 3 things that you can do for your webinars? Number 1, you got to stop looking at your marketing or stop looking at this webinar process or whatever, your summit, or as like the event. It's a start to the process of building trust, of building respect, of building the story, of building your field position. Hopefully that makes sense. I hope that really makes sense and really connect, because I just see so many good people, hardworking people that are getting sucked dry by these experts, making them think, oh, all you got to do is create one magical webinar. It's nonsense. It's BS. No, It's a long-term play. It's relationship building. So let me give you the 3 steps. Number 1, what we're seeing right now with active clients, we just had a webinar with a client. We had about 880 people registered for the webinar. We hosted this webinar in the last few days, and our company helps certain clients that we work with implement these sorts of things. So we set up the model, set up the traffic, we drive traffic. 890 people registered, but over 200 and some people that showed up immediately for this. What did we do to get the ratio higher than 25% in this example? In a very competitive niche, right? During a busy time of week for founders, CEOs, business owners. Let me give you the 3 steps that you can take. Number 1, when people register for the webinar, ideally put a video on your thank you page that's energetic, exciting, and tell them why to show up for the webinar, how to prepare to get the most out of the webinar, and also let them know, reiterate like 1 to 3 key things they're going to walk away with, action steps, and also what they'll miss out on if they're not on the webinar. It's really critical, and you can do that in 1 to 3 minutes. That's number 1. Number 2, once they register for the webinar, is now you want to have a mini series of confirmations for the webinar. And we've got a whole blueprint of being able to do it, but I want to highlight a couple of the points, right? Again, because it's all about field position. You want to build your trust, you want to build respect, you want to build the story, and you want to build your field position to get them pre-interested, pre-motivated, pre-qualified, ready to do business. In other words, you're creating a buyer's culture at the time they show up. Or even if they don't show up, you could still do business with them. How do you do this? So a couple key things. Number 1 is if you're getting their phone number, what you have the ability to do is to send out a series of text messages. The day of the webinar, what we recommend minimally is to send out 2 text messages, one about an hour before the webinar, and one either within 15 minutes or starting now of the webinar with a direct link, not to register, but direct link to whatever the webinar link is. It could be on Zoom, it could be a number of webinar platforms, but the direct link to get in and on the webinar. Now, they may have to enter their name and email again, and that's fine, but it gets them directly in. So that's a real little nuance that can change the game for your show-up ratios if you take the time to use it. So that's number 2. Number 3, do a voice broadcast from someone on your team within an hour or less before the webinar as well, reminding them to show up. That's personalized. Hey, this is so-and-so. I just wanted to remind you of the training or the webinar that's getting started, the summit or the live event that's getting started in a little bit. Make sure to jump on, and here's the link. So that's another step. So those couple, and then on top of that is have 3 email confirmations, one about 3 hours away, another an hour away, and you may even add a 4th, one 15 minutes away, and one, hey, we're on right now. So if you incorporate email, you incorporate text reminders, you incorporate voice broadcasts, you will see that you'll increase your show-up ratios. But guess what? It doesn't stop there. Now, nobody said building wealth, building success was easy, because you might be going, oh my God, this is a lot of work there. Well, hey, success is optional. That's the truth, especially in business, right? If you want it easy, you'll have it hard in the long run. If you want easy later, you might have to do a little bit of hard work on the front end, right? And this takes some work. It takes some engineering. It takes some effort and planning and focus. Now, the beauty of today's technology, you can literally set it and forget it. You can automate 90% of this, 95% of it, almost 100% of this. Set it up one time, and then anytime you run it, you can just have a model that runs with you, right? So I hope this serves you. I hope you will take action and put a couple of these pieces in place. Number 1, change the mindset. Quit looking at any event, webinar, summit, live event, etc., as a one-time thing, a transaction. No, look at the long term of your business. Understand the real business that you're in is education-based marketing. It's about building field position. What is that field position and marketing set to do? It builds your trust, it builds your respect, it builds your authority, credibility, and field position and storytelling, right? All geared to help pre-position, pre-motivate, pre-qualify, get someone pre-interested to set the stage so that it's a buyer's culture and not a selling one. Well, if that's what you want, like if your marketing sucks and you only go 5 yards of field position, you got 95%, well, then you're going to need a hard selling, high pressure selling environment. On the other hand, if you have good field position, you move people through a process and education, authority, all these things we talked about. By the time they are at a place to make a buying decision, it's a buying decision, not a selling decision. Does that make sense? I hope it serves you. I hope you come back to this segment and re-listen or re-watch it and make some notes, because I have to say, maybe you could tell I'm a little fired up today, because I had this conversation earlier. It was kind of stemmed on the back of the conversation we had in this mastermind that I'm a part of, where people were debating like what's going on, what's working, and this works. It doesn't, webinars work, email works, voice broadcasts work, text works. The key is getting them all to work together, but stop looking at it like I'm going to throw a match at a logging and I'm going to catch a flurry of clients. That's a short-term perspective. Be in the long game, be in the relationship business, work to build the story, build the credibility, all the things that we've talked about. And if you take the approach and do the things that others won't do, you'll be in a place that others won't. You'll be positioned as the expert. One of our clients we're working with right now literally has generated millions of dollars with this type of model we've helped set the stage and put in place and implement over the last handful of months and over close to a year now. It's been amazing to see the growth model and the momentum that it's created. And another client we helped go, they had like 39 candidates in the whole year for a high value program that they offer. And they went from 39 a year to 100 a month. Well, of course they're going to see hockey stick growth, but we put these kind of things in place, and you can put them in place too. I encourage you, come back, listen, watch it, mark this out, blueprint it. It'll work for you, but understand what you're in. You're not in the throw matches at log business. You're in the long term. You're in the field position business. Use the marketing for the purpose that it's there, to set the field position. Less selling, better marketing creates better results. It creates a better experience at the end of the day. And that's what I want for you. That's what because here's the beauty of it. When you get your business solid, and let's say you're immensely successful and profitable, a lot of us are in a place where we have revenue and profitability and all. We can go make some substantial changes. And there's changes needed, wouldn't you agree? Changes in the world, some major things, some major initiatives. And one of those changes is related to the little guy, small business today. The small business owner is being, wiped away. There's the haves and the have-nots. There's, the wealthy getting wealthier, and the, small business is in a place of disarray. And it's sad to see. And what I know and what I encourage you to do is realize we're at one of the most exciting times in human history if you take advantage of it, if you set up the right systems, if you take the time to understand what you really have the ability to leverage right now. The little guy can still compete with the big guys. The technology gives us the ability to do that. It may not be the case in the next 3 years unless you ride the wave right now. AI, these big tech companies are making it tougher and tougher. And if you don't capitalize on it now, you may get swept away in the next 24 to 36 months, and that would be a shame. You can do it now. So I encourage you, take action, set up your text, set up your email reminders, set up your education-based marketing, set up your field position so you are in a place to win. You deserve it. And you can have a bigger impact, have a bigger reach, make a bigger difference, and have a bigger contribution. So there you go. Here's a way, 3 ways or more to be able to go out and increase your show up ratios for summits, for webinars, for live events using these approaches. Also, actually get over 75% engagement, because here's why. After the webinar, you create a mini series. I've talked about that on other, and if you want to go deeper with some of this, if you want to get access to some of the insights, wisdom, strategies that we make available, go check out our podcast. We've got over 200 hours of insights, to a degree a lot like this, on different topics as far as business growth, where we work with founders, CEOs to help grow and scale 6, 7, 8 figures with less stress. right? And a lot more simplicity. You can go check that out at growthtofreedom.com. We'll put a link in here. If you want to have a call to see how we can help you implement some of these strategies for your business to make sure you've got the right field position, right? That you've got better marketing related to education-based marketing. We'll put a link in here as well. You can also go look to book a call with us at breakthroughstrategycall.com. That's breakthroughstrategycall.com. But take action. Get your field position, create a buyer's culture, make more impact, make a better connection, tell better stories, increase your field position, and you can help as a byproduct generate more clients, more sales, more profitability, and a long-term approach. That's it for today. Enjoy the day, seize the day. We'll see you next time on another segment here. And by all means, take action. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of growthtofreedom.com. Are you struggling to get a steady flow of new clients every day? Or maybe hit a plateau or hit a wall in growing your business? Well, let's help you solve this problem today. Let's review your business and have a conversation. You can do that for free today at breakthroughstrategycall.com. That's breakthroughstrategycall.com. In addition, if you're looking for a simple way to implement some of what we've been talking about in today's episode, then I want to encourage you to get our free small business toolkit. You can get that at activate.breakthrough3x.com. That's activate.breakthrough3x.com. If you'd like access to the special resources and all the show notes for this special episode, make sure to visit growthtofreedom.com.